Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Welcome to Season 3, Week 23 of the DC Sports Digest. Pretty highlight, action-packed week with a lot of good things to talk about. So without further ado, let's just get started. Starting at the Nats, they wrapped up spring training and had a really good start to the regular season, surprisingly. Spring training, they beat the Mets and lost to the Marlins and the Orioles 2 times, ended with 15-11 and also 3 ties in spring training. And the first game of the regular season, they beat the Cubs, starting them off 1-0. Couple other things to talk about first. Dylan Cruz is going to start the season in AAA, and Josiah Gray, unfortunately, is going to start the season on 60-day IL. A little concerning. It's unfortunate his injuries have still been plaguing him. I hope he can come back this season eventually, probably in, I guess, May or June, and hopefully back to strong, back to where he was when he was like the opening day starter a couple years ago. So yeah, best of luck on his continuing injury recovery. We also made a small trade, traded Sean Paulinen, who we got from the Alex Call trade when he was sent to the Dodgers, to the Yankees for infielder Jordan Vivas. He did make the roster as a bench player, so we'll see if he does make an impact this season. But starting with that first game is the best part of the Nats for sure. Brady House, Joey Weimer, and Jacob Young, they all got homers. And we had a really good offensive game, especially after firing our hitting coach last year, so that was great to see. Nats beat down the Cubs 10-4. Really great to see. Congrats to Blake Butera, first win as a manager. And the youth rebuild started again in a good way. I was definitely probably the one game I'll be happy this year. It's got nice to win a game. We're obviously going to win some, but we're probably going to lose a lot more. Like I said, good to start the season 1-0. The rest of our division did start 1-0, so can't even say we're like not in fifth place in the division. We're all tied at 1-0. We'll see what happens. Coming up this week, we have the Cubs series finishing, start of the Phillies series and the Phillies series and the start of the Dodgers series. So a very tough schedule to start the season, which is another reason why it's great to at least win the first game. That's all I have for the Nats. Hopefully they can get a couple more wins against some tough opponents. On the Wizards, they did beat the Jazz, breaking their 16-game losing streak. They also lost to the Pistons, Thunder, Knicks, and Warriors. Still at a 17-56 record, right in contention for that bottom of the top of the lottery, I guess. Tristan Vucevic had 21 points in the loss to the Pistons. Bilal had 21 in the loss to the Thunder. Justin Champagnie got in a fight. He was suspended in the game, so was the guy in the Thunder. Very big fight. They just got tangled up, and it kind of just led to more and more. And we got into it with the Thunder. We were battling with the Thunder, which is great to see. Battling with the championship contender. We were in their head a little bit. And obviously we lost that game, but we made a little statement, which is great to see. We've definitely been very competitive in these games. Everyone says we're tanking. We definitely put out some tanking lineups with some guys that are like fringe G leaguers. But we do play competitive, which is great to see. I don't know if Brian Keefe's the future of their coach, but he has definitely coached these guys really well and made them competitive, even though we're not a very good team. We'll see what happens after this season. I won't say anything else after that. Jaden Hardy, nice 25 points in the loss to the Knicks. He is a bucket. He can get you 25 if you need him to. Julian Reese and Will Riley both had double-doubles. Got a blowout win versus the Jazz. We finally had a blowout win the other way, which was great to see. Just dominating that game start to finish. Bilal scored 21. Will Riley had 20. We had a close loss to the Warriors. Another game we just kept competitive. The Warriors aren't like the Thunder, but they still are a play-in team, it looks like. So nice to keep it competitive with them. That's all I really have for the Wizards this week. Hopefully they can stay competitive, maybe get a couple more wins. Like I said, I still want them to get to 20. They have a couple more games left to do it. This week they have games versus the Blazers, Lakers, and 76ers. That's all I have for the Wizards. On the Caps, they beat the Devils and Mammoth. They lost to the Blues and had an overtime loss to the Avalanche. Leonard's been having a good streak, 5 goals in 8 games. I don't think he scored after that, but still 5 goals in 10 or 11 games is still pretty solid. Huge congratulations to Alex Ovechkin for reaching 1,000 goals in the regular season and the playoffs combined. That is an amazing accomplishment. Crazy to think that's even possible. Cole Hudson got his first assist as a pro on the goal. Unfortunately, the Caps lost in overtime to the Avalanche. Also a very good team. Our worst game of the week is probably against the Blues. Pierre-Luc Duval was given a match penalty. We've had a lot of run-ins with the refs this week in this game and the game against the Mammoth. Not really in our favor, which is unfortunate. Didn't work out that time shot by the Blues. Luckily, we played a lot better against the Mammoth. We had to make a comeback. We were down, I think, 3-1. Novi had a hat trick. 4 other players had 2 points, and we beat the Mammoth 7-4. So that was great to see. Playoffs are still kind of far out of reach. We're like 7 points away. Still, we haven't really made any progress. with 9 games left. A couple teams have 10 or 11 games left. They have a couple games in hand, so it's gonna be super difficult. But I guess we're not eliminated yet. So I guess they're just gonna try hang around as long as possible, and kind of stay mediocre this year, which is kind of unfortunate. But we're probably gonna obviously made some trades, and we're gonna be trying to pick a direction after this season, and hopefully do a little retooling and be back to where we were the last 10 or 15 years or so. Hopefully. But the rest of the season we still have to play. So coming up, we have games versus the Golden Knights, Flyers, and Devils this week. We'll see what happens. If they can get some wins and get closer, or they just lose and kind of lose ground, or just stay that 7 points or so away from a playoff spot. That's all I have for the Caps. On to the Commanders, actually a lot of flag football news. There's the Fanatics Flag Football Classic I mentioned. Jaden Dales played really well. His team lost in the final. Team USA flag looked really impressive. The team guys that just play flag football, they knew all the rules, they understood everything, and they played really well and beat all the pros. So props to them. They'll obviously have to prove it for the Olympics, as I'll talk about later. But back to Jaden, played really well. Had 3 passing touchdowns, had a rushing touchdown, also a receiving touchdown. It's great to see. They're actually playing 2 quarterbacks with Jaden and Joe Burrow, so that was kind of interesting to see. Yeah, some really good plays. A highlight play to OBJ. He had a one-handed catch also, so that was really cool. Just a lot of great highlights. Great to see him play football. I was not concerned with injury. It's just flag football. Like, it's not a big deal. Some people are making it a big deal. I don't think it's a big deal. Just great to see him play some football again. Knicks missed the season, but we still have a long way to go for that. Now I want to talk about the actual USA flag football team. They're having tryouts for the 2026 championships. Actually, Dale Green tried out at 66 years old. There's a lot of steps. There was some virtual step that he looked really good in that they said, but he did not make it to training camp. But it's just amazing to even try at 66 years old. One guy that did make training camp was RG3. He did try out. He made training camp, so he was one of the top 24. And eventually you have to cut the roster down to 12. So there's 2 steps. It's 24, then I'm going on to 18, then I'm going on to 12, and that will be the one that goes for the flag football championships. But also, even if he doesn't make it this year, he'll be kind of thought about eventually for the Olympics in a couple years. So that's great to see. Be nice to see one of those guys make it. See some representation. Obviously, similar to Jaden, can run, and I think could look good in flag football. It was great to see him do that. So we'll see what happens with that. But a long way to go. But I'll keep you guys surprised. Made a couple of smaller signings. Foster Sorrell, tackle, depth signing. Also, cornerback Keller Witherspoon, depth signing. Another guy Adam Peters knows pretty well. So those are solid depth signings. We still have 15 to 20 roster spots. 6 of them we draft. Guys we draft. A couple more undrafted free agents, and then a couple of other depth signings to get to the 90-man roster needed for training camp. We're also going to get some new uniforms released April 15th. It could be the Super Bowl era ones made are full uniforms. We'll see. I'll definitely show you guys pictures in about 2 weeks or so with the new uniforms. I'm excited to see them. That's all I have for the Commanders. A lot of other DC sports news to talk about as well. DC United tied Atlanta. Get to 7 points. Their next game is next week, nothing this week. DC Power beat Spokane and lost to Tampa Bay. They are right outside of a playoff spot. Playoffs is 29 points. They have 26, so still have several games to get there. So hopefully they can make it to the playoffs. Washington Spirit got their first 2 points, tying Louisville and Utah. Their next game is today versus the new team, Denver. And 2 new teams are starting this week. We have the DC Defenders had their first game trying to defend that championship versus their rival St. Louis. And Old Glory DC has their first rugby match on Friday versus Seattle. So a lot going on at their DC Sports. Also had 2 great March Madness games at Capital One Arena. Duke beat St. John's and UConn beat Michigan State. So tomorrow night we will have Duke and UConn for whoever was the winner out of that region. So great to see some March Madness being played at Capital One Arena as well. On my weekly awards, also some busy weekly awards. I'm giving 2 games a week and 2 players a week. My 2 games of the week are the Washington Wizards beating the Jazz, 133 or 110. Finally get a blowout going our way. Caps also had a blowout go their way. Beat the Mammoth 7-4 after going down 3-1. Then after that they outscored the Mammoth 6-1. So that was great to see. My players of the week are Jaden Dales, 5 total touchdowns in 3 flag football games. Just great to see him play some hockey again. As well as Alex Ovechkin, who had 4 goals this week. his 34th career hat trick, which is just insane. He also scored 1,000 goals in the regular season and in the playoffs combined. So that is also an amazing accomplishment. So congrats to Ovi. My team week is also the Nationals, who had a really great week. Had a 10-4 opening day win, and congrats again to Blake Butera. Won his first game. It's actually a really solid week this week. So thank you guys so much for watching. I really enjoyed covering this actually solid week. I'll make sure to check out the Instagram. Also plan to do another mock draft or two in the coming weeks. So stay tuned for those, and like and subscribe. See you guys in the next one. Bye.